Well, tonight's breaking news, a government official telling CNN that the long-awaited report the Department of Justice has given congressional investigators shows no evidence of wiretaps at Trump Tower ordered by President Obama, as President Trump has claimed. As we've been talking about, President Trump has refused to back down on his claim despite producing not a single shred of proof. A long list of lawmakers and other officials have repeatedly said they've seen no evidence to support the claim, and yet President Trump hasn't budged. During the campaign, candidate Trump was asked how he felt about admitting mistakes and apologizing. Here's what he told me at a town hall in Milwaukee. You said on the radio right here in Wisconsin the other day that you do apologize and you believe in apologizing. When was the last time you actually apologized for something?
Oh, wow. No, I do believe, I don't know, I'll think. Can I think? But look, I do believe in apologizing if you're wrong. But if you're not wrong, I don't believe in apologizing.
But you don't know a specific example that you apologized?
I mean, apologize. I apologized to my mother years ago for using foul language.
Well, 7 months after that town hall, the Access Hollywood tape surfaced, and we all heard then candidate Trump using some pretty foul language. Hours later, he apologized in this video.
I've never said I'm a perfect person, nor pretended to be someone that I'm not. I've said and done things I regret, and the words released today on this more than a decade-old video are one of them. Anyone who knows me knows these words don't reflect who I am. I said it, I was wrong, and I apologize.
So, for the record, we know President Trump is capable of saying he's sorry. Joining me now is Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus, Harvard Law School, and author of Electile Dysfunction, a Guide for the Unaroused Voter. Also, CNN contributor Michael D'Antonio, author of The Truth About Trump. Professor Dershowitz, Donald Trump's refusal ever to apologize or admit he was wrong, where do you think that comes from? I mean, a lot of people have pointed to Roy Cohn, who is his attorney, but also who has a fascinating background with McCarthy.
Yeah, and I think he was one of Donald Trump's mentors. I got to know Roy Cohn when we worked together on the Klaus von Bülow case. I certainly didn't agree with his politics, but he was a man who never apologized. And the important thing to know about Roy Cohn is, notwithstanding his McCarthyism, he was not an ideological person. What he cared about was personal loyalty, personal success, winning, being on the right side, and never backing down or apologizing. Of course, he ended his life being disbarred.
And his general kind of strategy was be on the attack. Attack.
Always. And it served him very well for most of his career. In the end, when he was dying, if he had been willing to profusely apologize, he might not have been disbarred. But I think he wanted to go down without having to change his philosophy, and I think that helps understand a little bit President Trump. He got to where he is with this philosophy. His success in business, his success in winning the nomination, his success in winning the election. I don't think we're going to see him change much as president.
Michael, do you agree with that? I mean, you wrote about him. You've spent time with him as a candidate, as a citizen. I mean, this is a strategy, to Professor Dershowitz's point, that he's been using his whole life and successfully.
No, I agree that we shouldn't expect to hear anything different from President Trump. And Roy Cohn was one person who taught him this style, but his father was very much the same. If you go back and read the record of his father being questioned by a Senate Banking Committee on his use of federal funds for housing, he runs that committee in circles and refuses to admit to anything. So I think this is a style that is a way of addressing controversy without ever backing down. And I actually think he thinks it would be a sign of weakness to say, I'm sorry, to almost anyone.
That is what
I think it's, go ahead. In addition to his style, it's also a brand, I think, for him. And what I think he's done as president, though, is something a little different. Because I think he now has, quote, a vice president in charge of saying he's sorry. It doesn't necessarily mean Vice President Pence, but there are going to be people in the White House who will issue apologies.
You know, Michael, I mean, I wonder if the way that President Trump views the presidency is different than recent presidents have viewed the presidency. Just whether Donald Trump sees it in the same way that other presidents have seen it.
Mr. Trump, or President Trump, has always seen everything through a very personal lens. And in this case, if you saw how he treated Barack Obama when he was the president, saying everything he could to delegitimize him, I'm not sure that he held the office in the esteem or with the respect that his predecessors have held it. And that means that as a person, he's going to resist ever changing his mind or being seen to change his mind. And I'm not sure that he attaches the same dignity to the presidency as other presidents have.
You know, a friend of his told me that Donald Trump may not regard the presidency as a promotion from where he was previously, that he may regard it as simply a kind of parallel job. And he's going to keep the same style and the same tactics that got him here, but he's going to find that he's going to need to have people do the diplomacy for him. Look, Putin doesn't apologize, and he sees Putin in many ways as a role model. There are other tough leaders throughout history who haven't apologized, some pretty good leaders who haven't apologized. So this is not a style that's only negative. It could get the country into trouble, obviously, but from his point of view, I think he sees it as a positive style and a positive brand.
And it's certainly something which the people who voted for him and came out to vote for him and stand in line to see him even now clearly like about him, I think. Professor Dershowitz, Michael D'Antonio, thank you so much.